As soon as the woman boarded the plane, she noticed something strange. Long-haul flights are usually fully booked, but at that moment, only she and her daughter were on board, and her daughter had been silent ever since they boarded. A vague sense of unease washed over her. Fortunately, a few moments later, passengers began boarding the plane one after another. Judy didn't notice anything unusual, so she felt a little more at ease. It was a 10-hour long-haul flight. Shortly after takeoff, everyone fell into a deep sleep. Judy noticed 2 empty rows of seats in the rear cabin, so she took her daughter there to lie down. And that's when the strange events began. When she woke up, she found her daughter was gone. At this point, Judy hadn't yet realized the gravity of the situation. She simply assumed her daughter had wandered off somewhere to play. It wasn't until she had searched every corner of the plane's 3-deck cabin and still couldn't find her daughter that Judy finally panicked. After a flight attendant understood her situation, asking all passengers to keep an eye out for a blonde girl around 6 years old. But strangely, even after a long time, there was still no news. Even the passenger sitting in front of Judy said he hadn't noticed anything. Judy felt a bit dazed. She hurried back to her seat to check. The little teddy bear her daughter always carried with her was clearly right there. This proved that her memory was fine. She immediately asked the crew to conduct a full search of the entire plane, but the staff didn't take it seriously. After all, no one could leave the sealed cabin at an altitude of 3,000 meters. They then perfunctorily said they would report the matter to the captain when they had a chance. But even after 10 minutes had passed, the staff hadn't conducted any search. Suddenly, Judy noticed 2 flight attendants whispering frantically to each other. She hurried after them to ask if something had happened to her daughter. The flight attendant who had just hung up the phone said,
Miss Pratt, I'm sorry, but I don't think that she's here. What?
Flight attendant had contacted ground control. They couldn't find her daughter's boarding record. Her name wasn't on the passenger list either. Judy thought it was utterly absurd. She hurriedly pulled out her boarding pass to prove it, but in her pocket, there was only her own. Judy's hair stood on end. She rushed to open the overhead compartment, only to find her daughter's backpack was gone too. But at this altitude, her daughter couldn't possibly have reached it, so someone must have snatched her phone. Judy immediately fell into a panic. He needed to speak with the captain right away. He then rushed toward the cockpit without a second thought. But just as he was frantically pounding on the door, he was suddenly restrained by a flight attendant behind him. His behavior had seriously disrupted the other passengers, but the commotion was loud enough to alert the captain.